everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes, our weekly podcast hosted by Natalie McFarland, me, and founder and president of McFarland Productions, and Scout Foster, our outreach marketing manager. In these episodes, you can expect deleted scenes, in-depth campaign reviews, project highlights, marketing concepts, book reviews, and a deep dive into the creative process at Off Your Rocker Films, and of course, invaluable lessons on mentorship, leadership, and the business of it all. We are so excited to be releasing our episodes every Sunday as your soft launch to Monday. Hey everybody, welcome to McFarland Minutes, your soft launch to Monday. This week is going to be a little heavier than typical, I think. I think that, burnout is a topic that kind of is talked about out there. I think it's sort of brought up publicly, but maybe not the personal pieces of that, right? Like we talk about work-life balance, which I don't think is defined the way it's typically defined. I think that work-life balance is a year-long process, not a day-long process. But I think that burnout is a topic that happens in all industries. I think that being a small business owner brings it up. I think that being in marketing brings it up. In a previous episode, I had stated marketing shouldn't be an emergency, but sometimes I feel like we should have lights and sirens because that does come up a lot. Probably the majority of this episode talking about burnout is going to be focused in the marketing industry and some of the challenges that come with that. Scout's, working on a master's degree. By the time you have watched this episode, she will have earned that master's degree and we get to celebrate it. And Lubbock, you're doing great. You're going to be fine.
I do, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you have straight A's, don't you? Okay, yeah. No one has anything to worry about here. Burnout is a topic of her project that she's doing for her master's degree. We talked about that a little bit in a previous episode. We're going to talk more in depth about that research today. That's specific to social media managers. But I think that this is a heavy topic. So if you would rather not listen to a burnout talk, maybe see you next week. but I think Scout, I'm going to let you go first. Why don't you talk some about why you're so passionate about talking about burnout, why you wanted to do this as a project for your master's? Maybe give us another little preview into that in case they didn't watch that episode.
Yeah, so
and then we'll go from there.
If you didn't watch the episode on my master's final project, it is on why does the social media management position experience the quickest employee burnout rate. Essentially, that's what it covers. It's a couple episodes back, so if you wanted to pause this and go check that episode out, I believe it's 2 episodes before this, right, Natalie? Maybe 1, maybe 2.
I think so.
Anyways,
yeah, that sounds right.
If you don't want to do that, essentially, I created a survey to really just get to know what people in the industry think about social media management and why there is such a rapid burnout rate, specifically along social media, obviously. But I do think that, like you said, it happens in all marketing positions. I just think that I feel so passionate about the social media management position, particularly because when I started at McFarland Productions, it was primarily social media, and I had come from primarily social media, a different agency as I was in school, and I just remember when I came to you and I'm like, I cannot do social media anymore. I need to do something else. You were you basically said I've been waiting for this. I knew that it was coming because it happens to literally every single person that we put in that position, and I don't think it's. Well, I know that it isn't a McFarland Productions issue because I watched people in my old agency go through it. I didn't quite get it then.
I've watched internal people go through it. I've had social media managers come up to me and be like, I don't know how to explain to either my manager or C-level executives or provide a report that's like I cannot tell you, like, giving you a year over year
because
report is useless
literally
in social
don't
media.
ask for it
Throw it
either
out.
because that will set me off
Throw it out.
actually. It
Yeah,
isn't.
it's not a comparable environment. It's barely a comparable environment to last quarter. And if
Yep.
you're in any kind of business
Yep.
with seasonality, it's really not a comparable business, right? Like if you're an event or you have apparel that is specific to a season primarily, or if you're, whatever the thing is, like don't a swimsuit company better not ask me for a quarter over quarter report from
Unless you live
fourth
in
quarter
Hawaii
to third
or
quarter.
Florida.
Right, like it's going to be very
Yeah, or
different,
you're based
right?
in
Yeah,
yeah.
unless we're a local market in Hawaii. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
anyway, that is
Anyways,
my soapbox,
I'm
but go ahead, sorry, back on your topic.
passionate about burnout, I think too, because um like I relate a lot of things like back to growing up for my family and stuff. I'm gonna do that again now. I think I knew my dad to be burnt out with his job for many years, and I'm like,
Are we okay to say what
um,
it was?
he worked in law enforcement, so I think that sometimes it is just based on like the like who you work with that day, like the type of things. Like obviously, there's very tragic things that he witnessed as a first responder.
I think law enforcement is
Yeah,
kind of the classic example
yeah,
of this, and why
yeah,
divorce rates are very high. Not that your parents are
yeah.
divorced, but why divorce rates are
Um,
so high in the field.
like I know that he like very high stress, lots of tragic events. Also just like a lot of I was gonna say
A
dumb
lot of
people, but
adrenaline
yeah,
moments.
like just like
Well,
poor decision
yeah,
making.
that
You know
too.
what I mean? Like not to I don't want to like
Mhm.
stereotype this job too much, but like all of it does have some truth in it. Um, and my dad was great at like not bringing the bad days home. Like I know, like now that I'm older, yeah, now that I'm
It's
older,
really hard to
I can
do.
see like, oh,
That's
he
a
was
hard thing to
really
do.
just fed up with the day, and like it was nothing my sister and I did. Right. Literally.
Hanging on by a thread.
Anyways, my point is that I watched my dad go through that. I'm like, I never want to do something where I come home just mad. Like I don't want to do that. And then so I went into communications because I truly do love communication. Like anything to do with communication. Like I love storytelling. I love people. Um, I love to talk, which you might not know that about me because I am kind of quiet on here. But anyway, so I went to communication and then social media is like your the entry point. I feel like you start with photos
Mhm.
or social media or you start at like a combination of the two. Like I feel like those are just like the easiest access points. So
Mhm.
then I like saw myself. I'm like I'm getting burnt out and like I don't
And you did this for agency, a
yeah,
different
and
agency. You did this
yeah.
freelance, and then
Yeah.
you did
I
it
also did
for
it
us in
for
social, right? And your total was how many years
I
in
think that's
social?
hard to say. So I also this was a complete side business, but I also like really started running a social media account um like right after I had graduated high school. I graduated in 2016, so like 2017, like January of 17 maybe. I started pet sitting, which people kind of laugh at, but like I made so much
Mhm.
money and I was booked. And I did that all through social
I love
media.
that
Like,
business.
I had an Instagram and a Facebook, and I posted on every single day. Like, it was also so fun too because it was other people's like dogs and cats, and like sometimes I would post like a bearded dragon, maybe. No, it's not. It wasn't that. It was like a blue. It was a. I think it was a skink, but it was like a blue
Iguana or
tongue skink
something
or
like
something. I
that.
don't know. It is something like that. It doesn't really matter. Anyways,
Mhm.
like it was a really fun social account, but I do think that maybe like I do consider that maybe my start. It
That was
was.
sort of like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
in-house
Um,
social media
and then
manager.
I
Okay.
started so I did that for until I moved to Lubbock in 2019. So I probably did that for like we'll say 2-ish years, but at the same time in January 2019, I started interning at a marketing agency in Florida, where obviously social media is part of marketing. So I wasn't necessarily like handed social media accounts in January of 2019, but like I did start like the strategy and like learning about like different tactics that we use and like content creation and yeah, all the things. Yeah, yeah.
All the
So
pieces.
I would
So many
say
pieces.
that I
Point
that's
to be made
probably
there.
yeah, great point. I would say that I really started in 2017, but I feel like professionally, like for other people and like clients, was probably 2019, 2025. So like 6 years. We're almost at seven, six and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah,
S-
ish, give or
6 or 8.
take.
Yeah.
Um, anyways, I don't even remember the original question here. I feel like I'm about to go on like a different side quest.
I think we were talking about how many
Yeah, but
years
then
you
I
were
started
doing
talking
this.
about my
So,
dad.
like,
Yeah.
you're transitioning out of it now. That's true. We were talking about burnout and like social
We
in general, and the fact that
okay.
I knew it was coming,
Yeah, I
despite
think
how
the
much
original
we
question was
worked at
somewhere
it.
along the lines of why do I feel so passionate about burnout? That's why, because I don't want to do that. Like,
Hmm.
I do not want to wake up every day to go to a job for its benefits or to go to a job for its retirement. And like, I understand that you have to have a job to pay for your home, like pay for the grocery. Like, I'm not I'm not
No
arguing
one's
that at
arguing
all.
that
I
you need
just
a job.
would
Yeah.
I want to enjoy what I do Monday through Friday 8 to 5, which also sometimes is not
Hmm.
Monday through Friday 8 to 5. So I do just want to enjoy that. I would rather do something I'm passionate about. Not that you can't get burnout doing something you're passionate about. That's actually like the whole freaking point. But yeah, I think I'm just passionate about
Hmm.
like burnout because I've seen like what it can do to people and like very talented people, and
Hmm.
people who care. So I think that
Hmm.
I just like want to be a part of the
Hmm.
solution and instead of just letting it like I don't know, take me out with it or like take I don't know. I think I
Hmm.
just would rather be a part of the solution on it. I think is why I am am
Hmm.
into it so much.
Hmm. I think everyone goes through like seasons
Mhm.
of hype girl,
Mhm.
if you will, and burnout, right? Like you're going to go through seasons of your life where you're loving every minute of it. And then some stuff's going to get hard
Mhm.
in personal life or at
Mhm.
work or both, right? Maybe at the same time. Um, and maybe it's time for like a
Mhm.
change or move up or whatever the thing is, right? And I think that burnout, which I don't think is a permanent thing. Burnout feels very permanent the way it's stated to me, and I really don't think it is. I think you can like find ways to solve it and like change up whatever you need to change up to fix that. But companies need to be aware of that, particularly, in positions that have high turnover rates and social media management is statistically
Mhm.
across the board on all industries the highest turnover rate in marketing. So that's what I love so much about your research project is that you were like, where we're going to
Right.
find some great examples, the one that has
That's
the highest
strategic
turnover rate.
thinking right there.
So can we all right, let's
Mhm.
I know we're talking about social media managers right now specifically. Obviously, I
Right.
don't want to stay there because I think all positions can experience this kind of thing. But on the social media thing, let's talk some about your research. You're in the middle of collecting data. The previous episode we talked about at this point in time that we're
Ish,
recording this,
yeah.
you have 70 people who have filled out your survey. And where you're hopeful to hit 100 before you finish your paper.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be lots of analysis and paper writing that happens after this episode is recorded. But let's talk some about
Yeah.
the data that you're seeing in this. You mentioned to me personally, and then also in the previous episode, that
Yeah.
that some of these are sad, right? And maybe there's things here that companies, leaders, social media managers can work together to solve. And I'm sure these things are, they apply to other positions too in companies. But let's kind of stay on that social media
I
manager
think
track for this moment for your
also
data's
part
sake.
of what you're like part of what we see in social media is that we wear many hats, which I think is fine. However, I think I think that also adds to it, and I like a lot of people are expressing that sentiment too. That they're like, well, we are grouped under social media managers, but we're actually graphic designers and writers or copywriters and videographers and editors and photographers. Like,
Right. The dream would to have all
yeah,
of those things
yeah,
be a team that makes up social.
right,
And there's like a
right.
person that does the in-app
Um,
stuff, right?
yeah. So
Like a
that is something
community
pretty
manager.
prevalent that I think is definitely is probably like the heavyweight when it comes to burnout. Like I think that you are in charge of so many different things, but only for one thing. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I also think there a lot of people are commenting on like there's a lack of respect. Number one, oh, I think a lot of these people are. I surveyed a bunch of people from like other industries. But I think a lot of these people, based on the stories and their answers and other questions, I think that this mainly is talking about the ag and Western industries. They're like lack of respect from like our older leaders who don't understand social media. So they don't necessarily like respect your time or respect your I don't want to say judgment, but like your expertise maybe or your education, your experience, your workload.
Your your
Um,
workload.
I think that that has been actually pretty sad.
We can't
Yeah.
simplify it so much,
Yeah.
right? It's not
Can
just
you post this
posting
real
some
quick?
content, right? Like we can't simplify it that far and then expect it to be
Right.
like a game changer at the same time, right? It's also not one individual post that does it, and you're only as good as the other pieces of the team as well, too, that make up all the things that end up at social media. I've also seen people complain about social media
Yeah.
managers not being involved in the original campaign conversations, right? And I'm not saying everybody needs to be in every single meeting, but the initial strategy should at
Yeah.
least include those
Um,
people.
literally that. I don't know, like as we're like I am currently scrolling through the data and I still think that it's just like so sad. Everyone like so many people are like there's fires to put out and they might be unnecessary. Do it right now panics. Trends are a huge factor in here. People are like
Trends will wear you out, especially if
yeah.
you have any kind of a process that goes into creating your
n-
content. By
l-
the time you get it, it might be over. And
Yeah.
then you're expected for the thing to go as well as all the
So
rest of them
many
that
people
were on
are
the
calling
trend, but you're
themselves a
actually too late to the
firefighter,
party.
and they are not firefighters. They just mean they're putting out social media fires. And like I think that's sad. Like,
I think your
hmm
PR people need to be a support
um,
in this role
oh
too.
yeah. So I have a couple support questions. Which okay, I have a couple support questions, and then also just general company culture, which I actually find really interesting because I think they're contradicting of what you might think. So like most people a higher percentage over 50%, so like there is definitely a majority of people think that they have at least good company culture. So like it's on a scale 1 to 5, at least like majority of people answered 3 and above, like neutral, like good
Mhm.
and excellent. Most people think that their company has great company culture, good or neutral. Um, Another thing I thought was kind of interesting is they think that their coworkers are incredibly supportive, which I think is pretty I think that's like the normal. Like I think you bond over shared experiences, and your coworkers do usually experience. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can say
that.
shared trauma.
So right, right.
Hopefully
But
shared
something that
wins
I
more than
also think
shared
is
trauma.
crazy is that the like what did I said it on the last episode? Like 70% of people either thought about quitting or like did yeah,
They said not
they've
sure,
thought
but that
about it.
would to me say like it's at
Yeah. So
least
they're
the
not
thought
quitting,
has crossed their mind.
but like there's a
The
group of people
possibility is
who
there.
did answer they thought about quitting and that their company culture is good. So the problem is not the company, it's the position, you know? So I don't know.
Mhm.
I think that like that type of stuff is very um telling of social media and probably just marketing in general. Like it's just hard. Um but yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know. It's very out
Mhm.
of 70-ish people and they're all saying like very similar things. And they all are from no, I took like it's like a wide variety. Like I put these in LinkedIn groups that have no association with ag, westerns, like nothing like that. Just social media managers, like Facebook groups, um, like women in marketing.
There's been quite a few of
Yes,
us that have
yeah,
shared it on LinkedIn and Facebook.
yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
LinkedIn and
To be
Facebook
very
primarily that I've
transparent,
seen it around.
most of my connections also have connections in the Western industry. So like I do think I probably lean heavier towards like ag Western type social media managers, but I know that there are several in here who are in like nonprofits or they're in somebody is in like not necessarily like he wasn't like car salesman, but maybe like a car dealership social media. There's been a
Mhm.
few maybe beauty industry, retail. I don't know. There's been a few like there's other industries that have answered this, and it's shocking that it is very similar answers across the board. Anyways, I don't want to talk about. I was just gonna say I
I
don't want to like
do
narrow down to social media too much because I think there are other like I've experienced burnout as like a writer, as a photographer. Like I know you've experienced it probably on a multitude of things because I'm pretty sure you've done every single piece of marketing there ever was. Um,
yeah. Yeah,
mhm,
I've worked on
mhm,
firing myself from particular positions over
yeah,
the years, right? By
yeah,
replacing myself with people better at that specialty. So, um I think what's interesting about
mhm.
social media management, I don't know if you've thought about this or not, but marketing in general, we'll just say marketing as a department, right? Whether internal, external, doesn't matter. Marketing in general is the last one out
But social media
and the
is the
first one to
last of
go.
the last.
Is the last one
So we have
out
like
and the
20-second
first
notice.
one to go. Because what I mean by that is like, you've got like CEO board strategy, and then it gets to like product development. And then product development maybe talks with sales a little bit, to double check on like some research things. But then it goes into product and product development, product quality, product, blah, 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 blah. The product comes out. Now we line set, right? Now we finally maybe made it to marketing or like marketing adjacent I guess department, sub department maybe. And then, usually it's photography and catalog and all the things that gets them in a place that you can sell them. It even makes it to e-commerce, all of those things. Marketing strategy has already happened on the thing. If social media wasn't in that conversation, they're still not there, right? Now all the content's produced, all the angles have been dealt with, all the strategy, all the story, all the things are
And you
gone.
have 20
Now it
seconds
goes to
before it's
social.
launched. Yeah.
You know what social then does? Launches it. So social gets it, launches it all within one fail swoop. right? And hopefully they're doing social listening and they're able to like give feedback to product development. And there's pieces that cross over there, right? Like social listening should absolutely be part of your strategy from like a social media management perspective. Actually, as a company perspective, if I'm being real. But they kind of become the last. I don't want
Kind
to say
of.
the last to know, but
I
sort
think
of
they're
like
like
the
the
last
last
to
to
get to
execute.
create, the
Yeah.
last to create, and the first to tip, like the first to go. So, social media management is in this very interesting location. Marketing in general, absolutely right. Like marketing is going to be the one that handles it last, and the reality is I'm not blaming it on any department in particular, right? But the reality of any kind of product creation or even services, maybe, right, as you're offering something new, any kind of product creation is that
Mhm.
like there's creep, right? There's timeline creep all along, right? Even if it's a day or 2 days, right? Or like, God forbid, a couple of months, right? As that timeline creeps, right? That is what causes this emergent. And things that are emergent are not necessarily thought all the way through, right? If I'm having a heart attack and my heart stops, I don't want you to think about why
Mhm.
it stopped before you shock the shit out
Yeah.
of me, right? Like, get that sucker going again, and then we'll figure out what caused it after, right? So, there's not a whole lot of like, you're not going to diagnose, you're not going to run tests, you're not going to do all that stuff gets squished down, right? So the more emergent you make something, the less pre-thought strategy thinking gets to go into this thing, right? So as you're planning a launch cycle, right? Marketing tries really hard to get as far ahead as we possibly can so we can avoid those emergent things so that we can spin real stories, so we can tell real stories, so we can actually connect with communities, but as that creep happens, sometimes we don't get that opportunity. Or we miss the window
Mhm.
for the thing that was, like, gonna be great, but, like, something happened along the way where it got pushed, and now, like,
Mhm.
we're doing it at an inopportune moment that maybe wouldn't have been as good as if we would have done it when we originally thought we could, right? And the reality is that's the way of the world.
Right.
Like, stuff gets stuck at ports, right? Like, if you're in product design, like, you could have supply get stuck. You could have, I don't know, if you're doing something with
Mhm.
a CNC machine, maybe it breaks down and it puts it behind for a few days, right? Like, whatever the thing is, like, it's inherent in marketing that
Mhm.
it becomes an emergency whether you had the best
Right.
plan made or not, right? That's why my favorite quote in for applied
Go
to
ahead.
marketing, which everybody has heard too much. Scout has definitely heard this too much. Captain Cold in the TV show The Flash says he's talking to the Flash, and this is after he's like kind of become a good guy, or at least he's helping the good guy side, and he's talking about like doing some kind of a rescue. And he says, you make the plan, you execute the plan, you expect the plan to go off the rails, and then you throw the plan away, right? And in marketing, film, on site, creating content, launching a product, whatever the thing is, you have to be ready to pivot and you have to be able to do it quickly and you have to be able to execute quickly. That's all great until it all happens on top of each
And
other
then,
and then the metrics don't align,
honestly,
right?
just to be completely transparent here, then we're on the line for why it didn't work. Yeah.
Right, right. And not that I'm not trying to say at all
Oh,
that
no, that's
marketing
not
is
what I mean at all.
blameless, right? Like,
Yeah.
we absolutely have to do all the research, all the A/B split testing, all the things that we can possibly do to make the thing successful. But it is
Yeah.
frequent that those options don't
Mhm.
get to us, right? Um, so, or like get the timeline squished, really. Like it all comes down
Yeah.
to the timeline gets squished. And that's not really anyone's fault. Like it's the nature of life, right? When you're the last and first line of defense, that's a narrow window. Um, so, I think that that's something that that companies should consider for their internal marketing departments, for their understanding of their CMO, for their understanding of marketing wanting things to have a longer timeline to launch, for their understanding of all the way
Mhm.
down to their social media manager, right? Like there has to be a level of
Mhm.
consciousness that that is what's happening. And that alone, I think, could be a
Mhm.
piece to mitigating burnout
Mhm.
in the marketing field. I think that this is felt by CMOs. I think
I
it's
think
felt,
this is any
and this is
yeah.
true of really any department.
I
This is really anyone, but it's top down, you know? Like, just because you're a CMO doesn't mean you're sitting back and eating bonbons. In fact, it probably doesn't. In fact, it probably means you're working more, you're available more, you're on it more, you're thinking about it more, you're strategizing more, you understand the risk more, all those things. But like every level is experiencing
right.
some version of that. So burnout's tough. Now I'll be an agency owner
Or
or a business owner
also,
of any kind, right? And there's another level of stress or a
another
CEO.
more lifestyle topic that I thought was interesting is like 99% of my survey takers are women. Okay, well, women run households also. They have kids, most of them. I'm not saying you have to have kids, but like
Mm-hmm.
most of them. Like this just adds another layer that also
Mm-hmm.
a lot of social media people work from home, which is a whole nother topic because nobody thinks that you work when you work from home. These are all like general assumptions.
And not
Al-
everyone is cut out for remote
Also
work.
that.
They're just not. You could be the smartest person in the room and you
But I
may
just
still
think that
not be cut
there's
out
like
for remote.
also a lot of lifestyle um I don't know, like entries maybe like your lifestyle. I don't think that's not like the right word, but your lifestyle also can add to burnout, but I also think it could reduce burnout.
Mm-hmm. I wrote a post for LinkedIn recently, and this is my personal LinkedIn. And I'm sitting on a plane, and I hear somebody go, I didn't hear the rest of the conversation, but I do hear loud and clear, oh no, I don't get a break. I'm a small business owner. Right. So that's a very burnout strong statement, right? Like that is
Mhm.
true, but if you don't watch
Mhm.
it, unsustainable. Um, And the reality is that you, and I wrote this in the LinkedIn
Mhm.
post, you're not your best self if you didn't sleep. You're not your best self if you didn't take care of your body. You're not your best self
Mhm.
if you didn't eat well, move well, spend time with loved ones.
Mhm.
For me, it's spend time with my dogs, right? Like it's you're not your
Yeah.
best if you don't get outside. I'm a proponent. Like outside is like it's the reason we built a whole back deck with power and
Mhm.
internet and everything else so that we can work outside because we're a fully remote company, right? Like I at least want to be able to work outside.
Well,
If
it would be
not,
hard to
today I'm in the
record outside,
basement.
yeah.
Sunshine for me. Good, dear goodness, sunshine for me. I need sunshine. The water is good for me, but if you're not doing all of those things, and I'm not saying like you do all those things every day, right? Like again, burnout is or
Mhm.
work life balance is a year
And I
long
think that
process,
it
not
can
a day
pop
long
up
process.
in many
There's
different
going to
months and
be,
many like
yeah,
various seasons. Like I don't necessarily think it's just a I don't know, like oh today I'm burnt out. Like I don't think that's how it is. I think it slowly builds and it could be months before you like even realize it, and then I also think that it could be months before you figure it out, you know? Like I think it can be a slow
hmm
build up, but I also
hmm
think it's slow to go away too.
yeah. As from the small business owner standpoint, like there was a trend recently that was,
Mhm.
I almost forgot this was the whole point, right? And the reel will be like, I don't, there's like
Yeah.
ones at camping or whatever, right? Like leisure activities, spending time with family, whatever the thing is. That, like, there's not very many trends that like they hit on a different level for me. But that one did. And like, just bringing it back into perspective, especially as a small business owner, but this is true for anyone working, really, right? Like, I almost forgot that the whole reason I'm doing all of this, that I'm
Mhm.
sacrificing, that I'm hustling, that I'm doing all these things, I almost forgot that the whole
Yeah,
point
to live,
was the life
not just
stuff,
work.
right? Right. I mean, I want to love what I do,
Mhm.
and absolutely what we do
Mhm.
is part of my life stuff, right? But I think that, like, you better
Mhm.
find moments that are beautiful at work, but you really better find
Mhm.
time to find beautiful moments outside of work. Um, because those two things, you know, that's what
Yep.
makes up living. Not just one or the other. It's really both, but don't forgo one for the other. And I don't mean, again, not in a day, in a year. Make sure that you're balancing over a year's time, not over a day's time, because there will be times that you have to roll up your sleeve and sacrifice.
Also, there are going to be
I've
things
done it many times.
that you just don't wanna do that you have to do. Like, there's not gonna be, like, I'm
Sure.
right.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's not
understand
all
that.
roses.
I do many things I don't actually want to do in at work and not at work. Do I want to pay bills? No. Do I?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Do I wanna do laundry,
I
go
actually
grocery
do love to
shopping,
grocery
wash the
shop,
dishes?
but,
Also no.
all the other things,
You and I will never be on board
yeah,
with that
we
one.
don't
Post
neither of
office
us
we
like
can
to do
agree
that.
on. That's
I
a
do like to
hate it.
grocery shop. I like it.
Yeah. But I think all of
Yeah.
us experience burnout,
Yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah.
everyone. And it's a matter of how
Mhm.
company culture handles it. It's a matter of awareness. It's about how are you handling it? You know, you told me a story one time and you're like, man, I've just been feeling a little down lately. And I was talking to Katie Schrock and Katie goes, have you
No, good.
exercised lately? When's the last time
Oh,
you
she
ate? Have
still
you
does
been
that to me.
outside? Like,
Uh-uh.
you're like, no, no,
Nope.
no, shoot.
No. Mhm.
I see where you're going
Yeah,
here.
no, Katie is, like well, I literally got started in communications because of Katie. Maybe not because of her, but, like, she was, like, my mentor at like, from day 1, into
Inspo.
communications, and I think she's been able to see, like, my whole growth in that too, so she's very real, and I love her for that, and we have, every other week catch-up calls, coffee chats, catch-up, whatever I mean, whatever you wanna call it, um, and I was telling her, I'm like, "I don't love this, like, at all. Like, I don't wanna do any of it." Like, even the stuff I actually really do love. And she's like, "Well, have you tried, like, taking a walk?" And I'm like, "No, I have not done that." And she's like, "Do you go to the gym?" And I'm like, "No, I don't wanna do that. That's not one of my options." And she's like, "Well, have you maybe just, like, gone and sat outside in the sun?" And I'm like, "No, I do like to do that. No, let me do that. Like, let me go do that. Let me just clear my mind, and get a sunburn while I'm
Yeah.
at it because I do love to get a sunburn." Anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anything with a sunburn. Um, I have some answers for this too, but what are some things that you have done? And actually, some of the ones that I do are based on things that you told me you were doing. What are some of the things that you have done to help mitigate burnout um, in
I don't
general?
think you're gonna like this answer, and I'm trying to think of a way to rephrase it to not be so, like, direct. Um, it's not that serious. We work in marketing, you know? Like, I think that I do remind myself of that all the time. I'm like, is it important? Yes. Is there value? Yes. But, like, again,
No one's going to
yeah,
die on the
like,
table.
this isn't really affecting anyone's life in a, like, major good or bad way. You know what I mean? Like, I think marketing has its purpose, and, like, obviously I there are parts of it that I love and there are parts of it that I don't love, but like that's the same in like literally anything. That's the same as me raising chickens. Do I love my chickens? Yes. Do I love getting eggs? Yes. Do I love cleaning out the coop? No, I don't want to do that. But I do it because I have, like, you know what I mean? Um, anyways, I think that I've really shifted my
Yeah.
mindset. I'm like, it is literally not that serious. It is not. Like, it will be ready for me tomorrow. Um,
Mhm.
some more of the tactics that I use, instead of just uh, hyping myself up that it isn't that serious, is I literally completely shut my phone off. Like Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you might be able to find me. Sometimes I actually put it away earlier. Like actually, Kevin called yesterday and I didn't notice because I didn't have my phone. I did have my laptop still, but I didn't have like I just shut it off. I don't know. Go put it on the charger. Leave. Different room. You can
Yeah.
filter it to like personal work, sleep. I use those. I love to work outside. I love to take walks in the middle of the day. I'm not a gym person, but like
Mhm.
activity I think is enough for me. I invite friends over. I went and rented an office space. That has helped a lot because I can't. That actually helped tremendously because I actually can shut work off. Yeah,
Get it out
yeah,
of your living space. Like, if you're gonna work from home, you're gonna work
mhm,
remote, at least
yeah.
have a
I
dedicated
think,
space,
yeah,
like, that you can
yeah.
shut the door and
And
walk away from and
I
it's
don't
not
come up
staring at
here
you.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Like, um, I didn't come up here at all yesterday or the day before. I worked outside one day and then worked at a friend's house the other day, half of the other day. Like I need people. Like I'm
Mhm.
social. I'm luckily a lot of what I do, like creatively, I feed off of other people. So I literally can't work in an office without other people or my house without other people 40 hours a week. Like I would not do good work. I think that is maybe something like just learning who
Sure.
I am also and like what fuels me has also helped me to either climb out of the burnout hole or I don't know, like avoid you can't I don't think you can avoid it, but like maybe like lessen. Yeah. Yeah. So
Lessen
I
the
think
intensity,
all of those,
maybe.
that's not to say that I don't like
Yeah.
I do still get burnout on stuff, but I actually think that it's different things now that will burn me out. So now I have to find other things that are gonna help with
Mhm.
that. But tell me some of yours.
I I really I really loved
Mhm.
your I shut certain
Mhm.
apps off after a certain amount of time, right? So a
Mhm.
few years back, this is prior to you coming on, but I was rolling down the road for work, rolling down the road, and I'm trying to listen to an audiobook, but social, email, phone calls, text messages, I literally
It
couldn't get
would
through 30
redo the
seconds of the book
notification.
before it like stopped and then backs up 10 seconds like I literally couldn't listen to it, right? So I had to put do not disturb on
Mhm.
just to listen to the book while I'm driving, right? That day I shut off push notifications for social, push notifications for email, and I think the only push notifications I have is
Yeah.
text messaging and phone
Mhm.
calls.
I
That's
think
the
me
only
too.
push notifications I have. That
Um,
helped a lot. The next thing was I changed it so that
yeah.
only certain people can get to
Mhm.
me, even via text message and phone
Mhm.
call. Like, it won't make a notification. I'll still get it. I don't get a notification after
Mhm.
5 PM and before 6 AM. So, like, unless you're on
Sorry, you're
my
not on the
list
list.
of people, you can't
Yeah.
break through to me unless you call
Mhm.
me 3 times in a row, and now it's an emergency, right? Also, that is
We're
not a
bumping
hint to
it up
clients on
a
how to
couple
get me out of
numbers.
hours. Um, yeah, the next thing I did is I stopped leave my phone does not go in my bedroom, ever. Neither does the work phone, and I have a separate phone number, that helped too. The work phone and my phone do never go in my bedroom, ever. It's charged downstairs. Usually it's turned off. I have a separate alarm clock. Kevin still keeps his in our room for, his cell phone number has never been a business number, so his
At
really
all hours.
doesn't ring for business purposes. So
Mhm.
if somebody really needs to get to us, you can get Kevin. But I can't tell you over the last 17 years of doing this, the number of lights and sirens situations that I've gotten from clients, employees,
Mhm.
anyone related to work at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. And an hour after that, they're pissed because I didn't answer.
Mhm.
In my world, that's abuse.
Mhm.
Don't do that to me. It better really, 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 really be an emergency if it's like a marketing related work thing, right? And of course, like, okay, let's say it's Black Friday, right? And we're not working, or Christmas or something, and a website goes down and you've got a sale. That's an emergency, right? I will check in on my emails after hours and double check that there's nothing emergent. We do make sure there's no voicemails. I do double check my text messages, but you're probably not going to hear from me until 9 a.m. the next day, or, whatever the next business day is. Um, because I have
Um,
to separate from that.
Out of curiosity, this might be a sore subject. How many vacations have you taken that were a true vacation that you didn't have a laptop and you didn't check your phone or your email on your phone? 0?
Um,
Yeah.
Jamaica
Mhm.
in 17
Which
years,
was 2 years
Jamaica.
ago?
And we were there
Mhm.
for 6 days, I think. And yeah, 2 years
Yeah, but he
ago.
wasn't supposed
Kevin
to.
brought a laptop, but I didn't even know it was there until he had to pull it out of his bag on the way home. Somehow he hid it
I
from
thought that
me
was
in the other
hilarious,
TSA
actually.
checkpoints, but
But
Kevin
you
did have
guys
the
didn't need
laptop.
it.
Yeah.
You were able to, like, unplug that trip,
No,
though.
we never used it.
Really, unplug.
Yeah. Yeah. I took my
Mhm.
laptop and some
In
editing
Hawaii when
to
y'all went.
South Africa when we went. I don't think I took my laptop, but I did check in on my phone and that kind of thing. We've been to Hawaii a few times, but um truly
Yeah.
never once looked at it. Jamaica. We didn't buy the Wi-Fi package.
Um,
We didn't do any of
I
that.
think that's funny because you know how they say in, like, a marriage, like, sometimes like, the things that you really love in the beginning are also the things that, like, really piss you off in the end? Like, you know what I mean? I think that goes along with work
Mhm.
and remote work because I love that I can take my computer anywhere and my phone anywhere and still work. I don't have to take a day off. And I hate that at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time because
Oh
I
yeah.
don't.
Yeah. I mean, I've
This
I've
year is
done
the
it
first year I've
all the
actually taken
time. I
days
do it
off,
all the
I
time.
think. Like truly. Like,
Yeah. The other thing too is like when let me just say this from like a leadership, even a coworker perspective, right? You cannot you cannot give somebody time off, right? And out of the office and expect
mhm.
them to check in on anything the entire time that they're gone. I hope they don't. I don't want to hear. In fact, for your
You did.
honeymoon,
You
we
did.
kicked you out of your
I
own
thought that was
email.
so funny and I love that.
We locked you out.
You
And
did.
we shut you out of a Facebook chat group so your
And it was like the
notifications
most
wouldn't go off.
peaceful
And then we
like 3
forgot to put
months of
you
my
back on, which
life.
was a fun discovery.
We did forget. I don't know how we didn't figure it out.
um,
Yeah.
but leave them alone. Leave them alone. Because if you want that person to come back to the office and be productive, they better not have felt
Mhm.
like their work ruined their vacation. You want to talk about resentment? That's
Mhm.
not recharging. That's
Yeah.
resentment. You will cause it. The second thing you cannot do not, as a coworker, as a leader, as an under, as a report to somebody, do not go, it was terrible while you were gone. I have so much to go over with you. I don't know. It was chaos. Do
They're
not
never
ever
gonna leave again.
fire the person, fire the person first. I like don't work there anymore, honestly, if that's an okay thing in your culture. In fact, if I ever catch one of our employees doing that to another employee, I will be so angry. You want to
Again,
make me
back to
angry
my
quick?
it's not
That's
that
going to be it.
serious.
Do not do that
Surely
to
you can
someone.
handle it. Are you going to love handling it? Maybe not. Are that you
Yeah.
going to have to debrief them on what happened? Probably yes. Can we just keep it like yeah,
Sure.
right.
But
It's
calmly
everything
and
hey,
with
everything is fixed, but
solutions.
while you were out, um, this did happen.
Or even not fixed, like,
Mhm.
hey, here's some of the options we've come up with. Here's some of the brainstorming that we've done. We didn't feel we could move forward without your input, but here's some of the options. Here's the information. Here's it's
Mhm.
laid out. This is a sane way of bringing this proper to you, and it like for God's sakes, let
Mhm.
them get with their email for the first half of the day. Like just let them
Yeah.
readjust because it's going to take a little bit, right? Like I don't want anyone coming back from vacation more drained, more angry about going to work than
It should be
before they left.
so far in the opposite direction. Like people should be dying to get back
Yes.
to work.
Because that is how that person is going to feel the best and that is how that person's going to
Yeah.
do the best at work.
Yep.
So, what else? What other
I
tactics
was
do we
trying to think
have that
about I
we've
think
used?
you saying that you have a list. I didn't mention that, but I also have a list. You and Kevin are on it in case you're wondering. That's good.
You are
Yeah.
on mine.
I
Yeah,
try
our
not to call
employees
it,
are
but
on
yeah.
my list.
Um I that has really helped a lot. I actually think I was trying to think of like maybe what I think has helped the most. I think what really also has helped a lot has been having an office. But like that doesn't apply to everyone. Um, I honestly do not know if there's another vacation that I have taken that I was like 100% out of. I worked in Maine. I worked in Florida the past two times I've gone. It had to be Hawaii. It was like but this is also self inflicted. Like, this is not you.
You checked out for a few days when you went
Oh, yes, I
to the
did. That was
Keys
the
with
same year as
family?
Hawaii. That was right before Hawaii.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
You worked a few days
Yeah.
and then you checked out and then you
That
worked a
was in
few yeah.
2022.
And that is
It
also,
is.
like,
Yeah.
entirely a choice. Like, if somebody's going like, if you wanna take the
Mhm.
time off so long as the company can handle it, right? Like, so if you wanna
Mhm.
take the time off, like, the time off's approved, do it, you know? If
Mhm.
you wanna get a few hours for your
Yeah,
own
yeah,
purposes, your own paycheck
yeah.
purposes, right? I'm
Um,
good with that too.
I do wanna reiterate that, I do work on vacations because I am a workaholic, not because I'm forced to. It's just my own, you know, I don't know what it is about me, but I'm not good at that. Um, well, I also, like, it's not even that
I'm
I
not
worry
either.
about it, I'm just like, I don't know, it's like an addiction almost, I think. I'm like, I gotta check my email to see what everybody's doing, like
Yeah, me too.
right,
Well, I want it to win,
right.
you know? I want the thing to win, and I like to
I
be
think I
part of the
just
win.
it's almost like I know too much now, almost, I think, that I'll be on vacation, I'm like, "Oh, I wonder how that meeting went." Like, I know they had it. Like, "Are we good?" You know?
Mhm.
Like, just
Mhm.
curious, honestly. But yeah, I
Mhm.
think shutting your phone it's the screen time, I think, for me. Um, I told you last week that
Mhm.
I did end up taking Facebook and Instagram off my phone just as like a detox. So like personal and professional, like we're done. Like this is my last semester of grad school. Like I have other things to focus on than doom scrolling. Also, I have really learned that nothing on there is that good either.
Mhm.
You know, I do still have TikTok. I do like to watch TikToks in the morning and like right before going to bed. Um, but I can like I feel like I can control that one a little more. I think I still like it because we don't have um like work accounts on it, so it still does feel like very personal time. Yeah. Oh,
We
I
don't
don't. Yeah.
manage yeah.
Yeah.
We don't manage yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you
So I
don't
think that
manage
it
any
does
TikToks for social
still feel
for
like a
work.
very personal like outlet for me. But since taking Facebook and Instagram off my phone, my screen time went down 47%.
That's wild.
That should be legal. Just
It
pick it
also
up.
removes the temptation to like check in on company, work related
Yeah,
socials for
and
just
then
a
it's
second. Like
not
I'll
a
just
real
check real
quick
quick,
situation. But
like
yeah, I don't.
sometimes it is, but like real quick over
Yeah,
time can build up into your
I think
personal
this was
time.
a good talk. I'm loving this podcast actually.
Yeah. I had something else that I had thought of that I really liked
Mm.
that
Ah, dang,
now
this
I
is gonna
don't
be so
remember.
good.
But I
You
think
have to
that
remember.
I think that burnout, I know. I can't think of it, but I think that
Mm,
burnout is something that we all experience. I think that companies can play a role in preventing burnout and creating, cultures that support people. I think that people can create their own habits that also prevent burnout. All of those things that we mentioned from getting outside, going to the gym, do something with your body, even if it's not the
yeah.
gym, like go play tennis or golf or whatever, right? Do something fun with it. It doesn't have to be just, a bunch of running on a treadmill. Um, Spending time with family and friends, turning off the notifications when you can, get the screens out of your
Mhm.
room, less screen time in general. Um, I think all those things are great things, and those are internal work on things and external work on things, right? So you've got to kind of everybody's got to play a role in it. And I think that that's true of client agency relationships, client freelancer relationships, internal marketing department or internal anything relationships. Just being aware that, you know, sometimes life is going to be hard, sometimes work's going to be hard, and sometimes they're both going to be hard. And sometimes they're both going to be great, right? But allowing people to rest and recover and have the
Mhm.
boundaries that work for them, right? Some people's boundary level
Mhm.
is, I guess, higher than others, maybe. But allowing people to find that work life balance over a year's time, right? And then we all hustle together to achieve the impossible when we need to. Um, but working on that is something that
I also
everyone should
think,
be
like,
active in.
just to add in here, um, eventually you are going to hit like the burnout threshold where like something has to change, and it probably does need to be like a major change. And I think you should, like, not necessarily like you, but like you, our listeners, should like give yourself the grace to do what you have to do to make those changes. Like, so if you want, I don't like, it can be anything. Yeah.
Try to recognize
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
earlier than
Like, make the
self-destruction,
changes that you
right?
need to make to enjoy what you do for a living, and that could be anything. That could be setting boundaries.
Mhm.
That could be uh, position change. That could be like, I don't know, company change, like anything in your role, services. Yeah.
It could be continuing education, like,
Mm-hmm.
I do better
Yeah.
when
It
I'm
could be
learning.
a service change if you own your own business, if you're a freelancer. I don't know.
Mhm,
I think there's a lot of different
mhm,
like pathways, and
mhm. That could be lessening
right.
workload by
It
bringing in
can.
additional employees if you have the budget to do so or at least plan
Yeah.
for it in the future.
This is good. This is like therapy, I feel like,
Cool.
for some people.
Yeah. I think, maybe what the thing is from this episode is if you, our listeners, are experiencing burnout, or if you have tactics that you have implemented in your own lives that have worked for you, or things that you're trying, I think that those are all things that I want to hear about because sometimes I gain inspiration, like Scout's
Mhm.
whole change my notification situation. Like those sorts of things will help us, but I hope it'll help other people that are listening, and maybe we can comment on either message us or whatever, and maybe we can
Mhm.
make some graphics out of it for stories and things like that, so we can help a few more people get through the burnout situation. But I think the biggest thing is have respect for each other's time,
Mhm.
have respect for each other's workload, have understanding of what that looks like. Understand that people's personal lives are going to be 90% of how they come to work in the morning, right? Um, and just generally understanding people. And I'm a hustler, so I'm not saying you don't hustle, you don't work hard, you don't roll up your sleeves, you don't do all those things when it's necessary, but also realize that
Yeah.
not every moment is an emergency. I think emergency is the number one thing. So,
I think the
anything else,
last thing
Scout,
is like
before we sign
find
off of this one?
who can support you in this, and if you don't feel like you have someone to support you, you and I will. Like we are always looking for new connections and
Mhm.
like building community, and if this is like a community we need to build, then we will.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining this episode of McFarland Minutes, your soft launch to
Bye.
Monday. We'll see you next week.